Hi, it's me, Chio. Welcome. So, today I want to talk about a topic that I noticed in my experience with editing and reading other books. Now, it's not something I ever used to think about before, even if I now realize it was something that I saw in a lot of books. But the topic is othering. Now, what is othering? This is when you treat a person or group of people as different or inferior. They are labeled as not fitting within the norms of a social group. This can be seen in many aspects in terms of age, gender, financial status, race, nationality, color, and so on. There are so many reasons why people can be othered. Now, in some types of books, it makes sense to write the story in this way, but there are certain ways that an author might not realize that they are writing a story in this way. So I want to use this video to address that to avoid it if possible and when possible. Now, this might not seem that deep a topic and it really isn't, but a continuation of it can build up a bias that we don't realize. We experience this in the real world where a certain person is treated differently in a particular group they belong to, and that's because the group has viewed this person as the other person. They don't quite fit in, and we're going to notice that point in every interaction we have with you. We're going to point it out in every interaction we have with you. It's already not great when that happens, when you feel like you don't really belong in a group, and this gets translated into books too. Now, as I said, this covers different types of group, different types of reasons from age to financial status and the rest. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to focus on color, even if the point I'm going to give will cover the rest. I'm focusing on color because color is the one I've noticed the most, especially in recent times. Now, people are still figuring this out, how to be inclusive in their stories. But my perspective is that we should not worry too much about being inclusive in our stories. In fact, if you don't want to include certain groups in your stories, you're free to do that. I think what we should be more focused on is being natural and true to our experiences, our understanding of society, and the rest. So I'm going to walk us through different steps or different tips on how to avoid othering. And before I do that, I want us to understand that a lot of people other people in the books not because of their racist, sexist, and the rest, but because of society has made us too focused on certain things that we can't help but point them out when we are interacting with the world, when we are writing, when we're telling stories. So let's see how we can avoid falling into that trap. Number one, figure out why you are including different characters. Are you including different characters because somebody or a group of people or society told you you have to, or are you including them because you feel some pressure? Are you including them because it genuinely makes sense to have these people in the story? Does this story about a certain race that only exists one place need a race that's never been in that location before? If it doesn't, don't include it. There's no need to have different races and colors of skin when the society in your story is very monolithic. Even if the society you're describing is not a monolithic society, it includes many races. Will these particular characters in your story naturally be surrounded or have people of different races around them? Maybe because they're friends, live in the same environment, go to the same schools. Is this a natural occurrence in the society you created based on fiction or based on the real world? If the answer is no, don't force it in. If the answer is yes, write it and take inspiration from the real world. Number two, it's always good to check ourselves for our intentions. You might have no ill intention, which is great. If you don't have any ill intentions, perfect. If you want to force any other intentions, if it was not ill intended, do you have to force an intention on somebody? Writing, especially fiction writing, is not about forcing your own beliefs and ideas, but simply telling a story. Are you forcing people to accept a certain thing that should or does not exist? Number three, extensively study about a group before including them. If your number one and number two are positive reasons, then before adding a different race or nationality or skin color to your story, study them. Find out if they actually do these stereotypical things you feel you should include. Find out what is normal to their culture, what is normal to their family unit, or what is normal to them. Make sure your research does not come from a place of I'm studying something online or social media or other movies, but have real, normal human interactions, human conversations with people. Because the same way you try to make a rounded character in your story for any other character writing, the same way you should approach them. You're at the end of the day, what you're writing is a human. You're not writing an idea. You're writing a person. Let whatever it is you're writing about what they think, do, say, feel be what is natural to a human with the personality you have designated for that character. Are they an introvert? Is the character an extrovert? Are they shy? Are they popular? Are they funny? Are they always tired? Whatever type of person you're writing, make sure everything you're writing around them relates to what a person that would feel or think that way will naturally do in those circumstances, and not what you expect a certain race, culture, family to do in that circumstance. Number four, stop feeling the need to over explain. You're a white writer, you're a black writer, you're a any other race, tribe, culture, nationality type of writer. And let's say, for example, you decide to add a black woman to your story. You don't need to go into details about me that you wouldn't go to about another character. If you talk about a character waking up in the morning and tying their hair back in the bun and going about their day, when you're writing about the black character, you can say the character woke up and took off their bonnet or had their braids in or whatever it is you want to write that the character did. No need to say because of it's a beautiful black crown and things of that nature. It feels like you're trying to force people to see it in a certain way, or just write what it is that people have their own minds they can think for themselves. Also, let's say you wanted to write something about the black woman being able to fight a group of people or whatever. Don't try to over explain and say, oh, but she's soft too, and all of that. If you're not going to do that for a different character, don't do it for the other race that you added to your story. Number five, physical details of the characters. And this is one that I really want people to think about when they're writing. Let's say you're a white writer or a person that writes a story that the characters are majorly white and you only have one black character. Tell us the character is black. Let's say you're a writer who has a society of mixed characters. Some are black, some are white, some are mixed, some other tribes, races, etc. There is no need to tell us the character is black unless it has a specific role to the story. Imagine you have a main character who is white and you don't tell us the main character is white, but for some reason this side character that only shows up in four chapters out of the whole book, you tell us their complexion is black. If their complexion is not relevant to the story, you don't need to do that. We don't need to know, oh, but look, I added another race or color for inclusivity. We don't need to know. Just write your story. And I don't think people think about this enough. Maybe people do, but in the limited experience I've had, doesn't seem like a lot of people think about this. And lastly, stop setting a particular group as a default group unless it's prevalent in that community. There's a reason why this is the default group in the community. The majority of people in that community, they are all a particular Fey tribe. Therefore, the human there is different. That's fine. But if everybody is fairly closely, equally mixed together, there is no need to say these are the characters and then this is the white character, or these are the characters and then this is the Hispanic character, these are the characters and this is the black character. There's no need to do all of that. You have to either tell us who everybody is or tell us who no one is. Do not separate an equally large group as the other group unless it's specifically relevant to the story. So these cover the things to avoid or things to take notice of to prevent ordering other characters. But it's also possible to order yourself in a story if you're writing yourself into the story, if you're writing your culture, nationality, race, family type into a story. And why I bring this up is because in my experience of editing, I've seen this with some black writers where they're writing a book and they have a fairly mixed group of characters. And I don't immediately pick up on what a lot of the characters are. So some of the characters are white or mixed, and it's not explicitly said. But then there's a black character that it might not be the main character, might be a side character, and that's the one they focus on to describe as black. And I just get that feeling that from that perspective, you wrote yourself into the story So why did you feel the need to separate the black character from the rest of them? The same way we did not need to exactly know the skin color of the other characters that were very important to the story, the characters, the same way we don't need to know about this unless the story is talking about this character's black experience in that world. So yes, we also fall into the pitfall of ordering ourselves for various reasons. So just always think, why did I write it this way? Is this natural? Am I writing it as naturally as I can be? Am I too focused on something I should not be focused on? And that can clear up a lot of problems. So this is my hopefully short video on tackling othering your characters. I hope it's been educative, informative, and we hope you're writing along the way. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.